Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Soklal,
I'm Kevin Campbell.
and we're going to head straight into the news, Kevin. Trinidad and Tobago took on the US, and we all were hoping for a victory to be top of the group. It did not turn out well. We ended up losing 4-0. A lot of people, before we get into it, they really thought we had a legitimate chance. I thought we did okay, but Kevin, before I get into it, let me hear your thoughts on the game.
I thought that the first half was really good, but then 12 minutes of madness in the second half meant that we lost 4-0.
Yeah.
But I think there's a positives to look forward to after that encounter. And going into the Hex, we have our plan set out, what we need to do to qualify.
Yes. One of our fans actually asked me directly on Facebook before the game. Yannick Manning, good guy, he's a real football guy. So he asked me an interesting question. He said, would you prefer if Trinidad lost his game not play, I think, well, he thought at the time that we'd have to play, I think, Mexico.
Yeah.
And I told him I was torn because, I'm thinking, all right, it's good to start off at home or whatever. But then I'm thinking at this stage of the tournament, you're going to meet those guys anyway. So you might as well, go for the victory and, get, some self-esteem under their belt and build their confidence. So I was torn, and I would never, at the end of the day, I would never want Trinidad to ever lose. I don't think a team should ever resort to losing as a means to, benefiting themselves. But it was a very interesting theory he had. He thought maybe it might be easier, but we were discussing it. As a result of this now, from what I've seen of the schedule, I think our first game is going to be against Costa Rica at home. I'm not sure. So that's actually not too bad. But in the context of the game, I agree with you. I think Trinidad played pretty well.
Yeah.
In fact, for the first half, they had the US pretty much pinned back in their half at times. They were winning a lot of the 50-50 challenges. And then, as you said, a moment of madness, a poor clearance. Then there was some slack marking for the second goal and the third. It was definitely a couple minutes of absolute chaos.
Yeah, the first half was good for Trinidad, but Sasha question. And remember in the last show, we spoke about Sasha. We spoke that he was absent from the team for a while, and then when he got called back, he was surprised. But I really like Question.
Yeah.
I mean, he provides that link between midfield and strike force. He replaced Jermaine Jones, and he got onto a great ball and literally poked it past Marvin Phillip.
Yep.
And in the second half, 12 minutes of madness, a quick fire burst from Josie Altidore. We spoke about Altidore's potency. We spoke about how strong he was, how good he was in front of goal, and he really hurt us.
Yeah.
And then the final goal from Ariola, his maiden goal. So, and after that, we sort of got back into the game and had two great chances. I think it was Highland and Dwayne Jones had chances late on in the game to actually register a goal. But I was a bit disappointed. Coach Hart, he made some changes to the back line. Half of the back line was changed.
Yeah.
I mean, Sheldon Bateau was replaced by Rodanfa Abubakar.
Yep.
And on the right, Cyrus was replaced by Aubrey David. So it gave a different structure to the back line. And up front, Jones was retained, but Cato was replaced by Levi Garcia.
Yes.
And that's a move I wanted to see. And I enjoyed seeing Garcia run at the American defense.
He caused them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but in the earlies, I think that the U.S. relied heavily on Bobby Wood and Christian Pulisic. We saw how good Pulisic was. I mean, that shot that hit both posts, it was outstanding. And Pulisic, the way he plays, he runs the channels quite a lot like Donovan, a good dribbler. But I think with Pulisic, he has a better tenacity and aptitude for football compared to Donovan. So in the second half, the U.S., they came on. I mean, it looked as though we were a bit fatigued, but the U.S. came on strong with their subs, so we were meant to pay for some slack work in the second half.
Yeah, and what it shows is at this stage, when we are the Hex now, it's no longer, no offense and no disrespect to St. Vincent and all these other teams. You're playing with the big boys now. These are the best of the region. It shows you when you make mistakes, you will pay for them. It was just a couple minutes. A lot of people have been panicking and saying, oh, it's a disaster, and the bandwagon fans who jumped on and jumped back off. Kenwin Jones has got a lot of criticism. From a fan's perspective, I could understand that when he misses chances, it is aggravating. But I'll be very honest. He was a presence up front, and when he left the field, his absence was felt because you could see the defense were no longer troubled. They didn't look as occupied as they normally would be with Kenman Jones on the park. And I always say, if Kenman Jones could just fine-tune that last part of his game and just finish those chances he gets, because he does command a lot of attention. And when he came off, it showed. Winchester came on, and he's more a dribbler, ball on the ground type player. Very interesting choice, similar to Cesar in a lot of ways. Very physical. Very much in the mold of, I like to compare him to Tevez. He could drop deep and build up play. But essentially, I think Trinidad, it was incidents rather than they had a poor game. The scoreline, of course, is terrible. 4-0 always looks bad. It would have been great. But I actually think this is a very, a slap in the face for Trinidad that, they were celebrating, they drew against Guatemala and so on. But this is a game where they need to realize, hey, wow, guys, we have work to do. I was a bit disappointed with the midfield. I think they did not look like themselves at times. They got lost when that first goal was conceded. And they took too long, and this is a characteristic of Trinidad. That was a problem years ago. We would concede goals, and Hart addressed this in the early stages of the game, and we would take very long to react. And we took about 12 minutes to react, and we paid in the end. So Stephen Hart obviously has a lot of work to do. In his post-match conference, he spoke and said his players need to, his senior players, he expected a lot more from them, and it's definitely a lot for him to learn. But take Hart Trinidadians, we have some games coming up before the Hex. I think it's the Gold Cup qualifiers, so it's the Caribbean Cup. So we have games that will definitely be what we need. I think the team needs to play together more. I mean, ideally we should be playing some big teams, but I think that's perfect for us. I think we are just a few tweaks away from being a better team, and Hart needs to fix that.
Yeah, the midfield duo of Highland and Buko, they were a bit overawed. I mean, Highland made a mistake for the first goal, but I don't know if they should be rested because they played a lot of football.
They look exhausted,
so maybe, I like Hector, maybe he could have come in and provided a bit of a calming influence. But I want to pinpoint the right-hand side of the play. Aubrey David on the right, he played instead of Cyrus. But most of the attacks, I mean, all the goals came along that side.
Yeah, they saw that. That's true. Good point.
Yeah, and could be that the US sort of created a mismatch and they double teamed on the left because Fabian Johnson, the US left back, he was absolutely fantastic for the entire game. And this is a guy that plays for Gladbach in Germany, but he was part of that German under 21 side that won the Euros in 2009, playing with Neuer, Khedira, those guys. So that's definitely quality on the left going forward for the US. And he was a guy, Fabian Johnson, that Klinsmann did not like because he wasn't the greatest of characters in the dressing room. He's a bit disobedient, but he played and he's now in Klinsmann's good books. So maybe that right-hand side could be a bit of a spot where Trinidad could look at. I mean, playing that right-sided midfielder, get him to defend more, could be an option in the future, especially when you play teams like Costa Rica, who come at you from both flanks.
Yeah, they love the wide play. Yes, they did. I noticed that as well. They definitely identified that area. Make no mistake, these guys use their statistics and data. They know more about the players and the players know about themselves. Klinsmann, to his credit, obviously identified, and Guatemala as well. And I think it was a wake-up call, and Stephen Hart may have to adjust. Teams are studying Trinidad. And Guatemala clearly had a game plan that almost worked. Let's be real, Marvin Phillips saved a lot of chances.
In the first half, I remember.
He was fantastic. The US also as well. So this is where Trinidad has to be a bit more tactical, and also, we spoke about this in another episode. The Double Connection coach spoke about the psychological ability to adapt to games, game management. They are aware it's a problem, but I saw that as a real issue, and he got terrorized on the right side. So, with all that being said, we are through to the Hex. The game, I don't know, I'm glad that we played the US. I'm glad we played the US, and I'm glad a lot of people won't see it that way because you'd always like to win. But I think it's better that we lost now. We sit down and be like, all right, guys, listen, we have some glaring issues to work on, and we go use all our energy, defeat the US 2-1 or something like that, learn nothing, and then go into the second round, and they come back around and destroy us.
Notable mention, Andre, before we wrap up, Carlos Ruiz scored 7 goals in the last 2 games. We were speaking about him potentially catching Sturgeon up there, and he scored 7 goals after we said that.
He heard us.
But he has retired now from international football. I think he's 2 goals behind St. John, so we can breathe a nice calm of relief there.
Can't catch in the burn, you know what I'm saying?
Guys can't.
But Ruiz, I'm actually surprised. I thought he would have just followed through and gone all the way. But listen, the guy's a goal scoring machine.
Yeah.
And I guess they did not make it to the next round, so he said goodbye.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's what we think of the Trinidad game. Let us know what you think about it in the comment section below.
Yeah.
But since we are speaking about US, I'm going to go into another topic that just before we started the shoot, I was reading this. We spoke about Landon Donovan.
Yeah.
Landon Donovan has announced.
Landy Kicks.
Oh yes, Captain America. Yeah. He has announced that he has returned to football.
Yeah.
LA Galaxy. I even thought it was a rumor, and then I saw LA Galaxy posting up a video with him putting his jersey on. Do you think, and someone asked me this as well, that Donovan is a clever guy? He took his time out, recharged his batteries. We all know he's a problematic player. He is. Klinsmann had to drop him. Is he trying to make a case to make it to the World Cup this time around? It seems very strategic, the timing. That's something we don't know. We can only speculate. But that's what I think. What do you think?
I think in order to make it to the World Cup, Donovan has to prove his fitness. And Klinsmann is not a very easy person to win over.
Yep.
Remember Tim Howard? Tim Howard took a sabbatical off from goalkeeping, and Guzan came in, played, and he's now Klinsmann's number 1. And Tim Howard came back, but Guzan is still number 1. So he isn't bought over easily. Donovan, when he retired, remember that before the World Cup last time, his fitness was an issue. He had a bit of a belly. Klinsmann did not like that. And he dropped him from the World Cup squad.
Yep.
So I think that in order for Donovan to actually get back to any sort of U.S. soccer pinnacle, he needs to prove his fitness. And if he does that, he'll get in. But it's a tough task. Tough task.
Yeah, he's a guy who has always come with an attitude problem. Trinidadians would know him. I think for those of you who don't know a little bit of history, the Trinidadian who I believe it was the under-17s or the under-20 World Cup qualifier or something back in the, he had a collision with a player.
Marvin Lee.
Yeah, and he died. Yeah. So that's why people don't know that story. But so he has a bit of a interesting connection with us.
Yeah.
Not the best kind. But he has been problematic. The US people have been very critical of Klinsmann dropping him for the World Cup. I think he was right. I think the coach needs to make his decisions. I think Klinsmann made a very good decision at the time because they were holding on to Donovan and they needed to move forward, and they have. They have not been patient with his transition process. But listen, he got them through to the Hex. They have been criticizing him ever since. But I think he is exactly what the US needs. But I actually don't think the US think the same thing. So Klinsmann, as a fan of your work, I hope it works out. But I hope it's not at the cost of Trinidad. So that's that. I had to touch on that. That was not even on our list. We have a very technical list here.
Yes.
Put together by finest analysts in the game.
Scribbles.
Yes. But I just had to mention that. So, Kevin, the next thing we're going to speak about is the upcoming Manchester derby this weekend. Wow. Before I even get into this, the coaches in England right now, I mean, we saw what it was like with Pep and Jose Mourinho in Spain. They're back, and wouldn't you know it, they're for the rival Manchester teams. Pep is for City, Jose for Manchester United. I think this is going to be an exciting build-up, but the game itself, maybe, it'll probably end up like 0-0 or something. Kevin, what do you think?
I'm going on the same lines because it's an early kickoff. It's a midday kickoff in England.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very hot sun. It's going to be. So the pace may be a bit slower, but I like it. I mean, the Mancunian derby, the style and substance meet pragmatism. So we'll see what happens. Guardiola and Mourinho have a definite history.
Yep.
Remember, they were at Barcelona. Mourinho was Louis van Gaal's assistant.
Yep.
And also the assistant of Bobby Robson.
Translator.
Guardiola was the captain. So they've had a lot of conversations together. They've lived together. They have done a lot together. Then Mourinho went on the other side, coaching Real and Porto and being the complete antagonism of Pep Guardiola's strategy. Yep. I mean, they play contrasting styles of football, and it's really the epicenter of the footballing universe is going to be in Manchester, in Old Trafford on Saturday. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited. I'm not the biggest fan of the league overall, but I can't say this. They have entertaining games. It may not be the most tactical, but these two guys are very tactical with their various styles of play. For those of you who don't know, just to expand on what you were saying, that these two guys have a long running. They were originally friends, of course, and in fact, if you go online, you could find it. They were actually saying he was good friends with everyone.
You can find the photos.
Yeah, you'll actually see them. You'll see videos where he's training the guys, and they loved him. Robson said the players loved him. And that's one of Jose Mourinho's secrets. And then what really took place is a brief history lesson. He left and went on his own journey, and then he came back and he actually made a proposal to Barcelona.
Yes.
And they were very impressed. And they told him, and you could check out the anatomy of a champion, I think, or winner or something. And they said, listen to me, we love everything, it's brilliant. And I think he had some very impressive PowerPoint presentation. And they told him, Jose, not the exact words, of course, but...
it's in Spanish,
Yeah, so interpret as you may. But they told him, we love what you do. But Barcelona has a certain philosophy in terms of how they want their coaches to care about themselves.
Yes.
And Jose Mourinho was like, what do you expect from Jose Mourinho? Listen, this is what you get with Jose Mourinho. And I think he has a permanent chip on his shoulder, and he always wants to prove something against Barcelona. He's had constant feuds, even got a couple of refs to retire from the game. Was it Frisk?
Yeah.
Yeah, So Fisco, I can't remember.
And just Fisk. Yeah.
And not Wilson Fisk, another Fisk. Not Daredevil. So basically, I'm excited. I think both teams definitely want to prove themselves. Man City have started off fantastic. I was actually thinking Pep would need some time to adapt, but I was wrong. But Man City has done this before. They have started off pretty hot and then started to boil on. But I actually don't think the way Pep plays, I think they'll be all right. I think Jose Mourinho is going to do what he does best, sit down and do the counter-attacking style football and try to exploit the spaces at the back that Pep creates.
Yeah, United will be at home, but City, I mean, the last game against West Ham, they beat them 3-1.
And West Ham is really good.
Yep,
wow.
They play good football. The thing is that I see a lot of some casualties in their team. I mean, the front line, Aguero's missing. He's banned for 3 games. So who's going to come in? Is he going to play Kalichi Iheanacho, or is he going to play David Silva as a false 9?
Yeah.
I can see him playing Nolito, Silva, and Sterling up front.
Yep, front 3, yeah.
Yep, or maybe Sane behind them and Kevin De Bruyne. But that could change as well. Ilkay Gundogan, remember him?
Yeah.
He's now fit.
He's back.
And he was Pep's #1 signing. So if he's fully fit, he may get some playing time because he's a player Guardiola admires a lot because of his tenacity. And I want to see Leroy Sané play because this guy, he dribbles with pace and he's a good footballer and quick on a shot. So I can't wait to see him play. Yeah. But at the back, Andre, centre-back positions, it's set. We established that Otamendi and Stones, they're going to be Guardiola's first choice centre-backs. Yep. But he rotates his full-backs. We honestly not sure if he's going to play Zabaleta or Sagna or Clichy or Kolarov. I mean, and in Guardiola's system, his full-backs play sort of as midfielders, and the centre midfielder drops. So Fernandinho is going to drop back in between Stones and Otamendi. So it's going to have a different shape going forward. How that matches against United's shape is going to be interesting because, Andrew, we can say Man United's lineup right now because Mourinho doesn't really change his lineup. No. It's the same since the first game of the season. The last game Manchester played was against Hull, and they needed a last-minute goal from teenage wonder kid Marcus Rashford. Yep. So we know that Zlatan's going to play, Pogba behind him with Mata and this guy out on the right. It's Mata, Zlatan, and Martial.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And the defense is set with Blind and
I almost
Bailey.
said Di Maria for a second.
He's long gone.
Yeah. Living in the past, Andre.
Yeah. With Bailey in the middle of defense. So that's contrasting styles. I think that the game may not be as rip-roaring as we think, but I still like the spectacle. I mean, it's a classic early season encounter between two English footballing giants.
Yeah, I love that we have this game so soon after the international break. Yeah. 2 top coaches, 2 top teams, 2 very different styles. I really think for Manchester United to have a chance to exploit the gaps Pep may create. The way how Pep plays could definitely benefit players like Otamendi and so on. They're comfortable in that kind of position. We all know the story about Hart, he's gone. So it'll be exciting and we'll see how it turns out.
Bravo makes his debut.
Oh yeah, so Caballero once again goes back. It's such a shame because I really like Caballero. I think he is a top keeper. Yeah. I was against his move to Manchester City when he left Malaga, but he followed Pellegrini along with Demichelis. He really is, I think, should be the Argentine #1. But Romero, every time Romero does his job, Romero's on the bench of Manchester United right now. So both Argentine keepers are chilling on the benches of Manchester United. Bravo, he's a top keeper, so you can't argue putting him. He's used to that system. So, sorry, Caballero. I know it's a side topic, but...
And Bravo's a really good leader as well. I mean, he captains Chile to all those triumphs. He's a good talker. He's a good person to have. So
he is a top keeper. I was very impressed when Barcelona bought him, and I was actually kind of disappointed that they sold him. But, we look forward to the game this weekend, and I think it's going to be a very tactical game. So let's head into the Q&A section.
Yeah.
Where we get some questions thrown at us.
Yeah, let's see if we can take them.
Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on.
Just bring it.
Okay, so in some interesting FIFA news, apparently Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid have lost their appeals against FIFA's one-year transfer bans for breaking rules protecting underage players. This means that for the next two transfer windows, as winter and summer of 2017, they can't bring in or register any new players.
I mean, I read that and usually associate that stuff with Real Madrid. They have a tendency, but I was pretty shocked that Atletico Madrid was involved in this. I don't know all the facts, but I got a quick summary of it online. That is terrible for maybe Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
I know Simeone wanted to make some moves. There's a couple strikers he wanted. So I think it's going to be more problematic for Atletico. I think Real Madrid will be fine. I think Real Madrid is pretty set. I think it's okay. I think it's shocking. But I think it's kind of strange that this happens now rather than before.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as a double-edged sword because it happened to Barcelona last year, and they signed players. No, it happened to them during the transfer window.
Yeah.
So they were able to sign players like Alex Vidal and Arda Turan and just have them sit there. But look at what this ruling is. It's outside of a transfer window. So Real Atletico Madrid, they couldn't make any preemptive changes. They couldn't plan for the future. So they're set right now with what they have. But Real Madrid, they're okay in the defense and attacking midfield. But I think if a guy like Casemiro goes down, there isn't a ready-made replacement for him in that defensive midfield booth. They did sign Morata, but they did let the guy likes of Hesse free.
Yeah.
So I think that it could affect Real. I mean, Real squad, it isn't as deep as we would think. The backline is good, but upwards, it isn't as deep as you may think. For Cholo and Atletico, their strike force is lacking, but they did sign Kevin Gamero. So if he stays fit, they'll be okay. Planning going forward, the defense, Jose Jimenez and Godin, good partnership, and they have youthful guys to come in. But could this be a strategy? Because, I mean, it's odd for me that it happened outside of the window. I mean, that's a week after the window shut. So maybe it's a bit of gamesmanship there, but...
It seems as if, I know a lot of my conspiracy theorist friends are saying, with Spain's recent dominance at both European competitions, and this is ridiculous and it's a conspiracy, so don't put too much into it. But they're saying it's kind of convenient. You're right, there's something weird about this entire thing. The timing is strange. When it was done is... the time it took place is so bizarre because I think everybody did their business already.
Shopping.
Shopping's done. It's like, you buy all this stuff, you step out the store, and then the store closes down after. Whatever.
Yeah, you can't return your items.
We'll be down in 6 months. We have our items already. So I don't think the present, it affects the both Madrid teams. But a lot of people are saying, and these are fans, of course, and there's no basis for this, so don't go saying Andre and Kevin said this. But, they're saying, England, the English Premier League, has, they are trying to make some power plays and try to get themselves back in Europe, signing coaches. I think that's a bit far-fetched, but with these days with FIFA and all this craziness going on, I've learned not to completely ignore everything. So it's very interesting. So I mean, that's all we could really say about that topic. So let's see our next question.
Yep.
So in some World Cup qualifying news, Brazil has just moved into second place in their group, which is 1 point behind Uruguay and unfortunately 1 point above Argentina on goal difference. Brazil second. Thoughts?
I like it. I mean, Brazil, they're riding at Olympic high. Neymar scored and Miranda scored. So they have that game against Colombia. To me, the fans were back on Brazil's side, which is vitally important. Colombia, they brought their A squad, Baca, James playing well. But Brazil, the players, and this was Titi's first game, and I like what he did. he recalled Renato Augusto in the midfield, also had Casemiro in there, and Paulinho, the forgotten guy.
Yeah.
So he has his favorites, but his style suited the Brazilians. And up front, he gave, to me, one of the biggest things he could do is give confidence to Gabriel Jesus,
Yeah.
the Palmeiras guy. And that is key, because Dunga probably wouldn't have done that. No. And Neymar found his rhythm. And what I like, Titi, what he's doing with the captaincy, he's rotating it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, between Dani Alves, Miranda, so it's changing hands. And why? Because Neymar said he doesn't want the burden of being captain anymore. So I like what Brazil is doing, so kudos to them.
Yeah, it's very interesting Neymar saying he doesn't want to be the captain. I think it's intelligent on his part, because I actually think that was Messi's downfall.
Yeah.
It worked under the Sabella era. I think it actually worked for him. The team understood what Messi was about. They built around him. But Brazil are doing all the right things right now. This coach has made changes that Dunga would never have made. I think it is important. Brazil fans should be happy he's there.
Yeah.
Because they were really, in terms of, everybody knows Brazil has talented players, but their self-esteem was broken. 7-1 crushing at Germany. I still think that they have lots of things to work on.
Yeah.
But this is the right coach. I think he's going for younger players. He brought back, I don't know if you want to call him a veteran, but Paulinho. I don't know.
Yeah. He's a favorite because he won the Copa Live and the World Cup with Titi. So they know each other good.
So that is actually an advantage. And I think Brazil will now, if they could sustain, I think they did exactly the right thing. He stuck with the Olympic team. That's going to be the core of his team. They have a winning mentality. And I always say this, that winning mentality trumps a lot of things.
Yeah.
So Brazil, I think, winning the Olympics was a true benefit to them. And I could see them having a strong run to the finish. They have some vulnerabilities, don't get me wrong. But you could see the coaches working on them, and the winning attitude they have now and the support of the fans has reignited Brazil. And I think Brazil could easily go on and scorch to have a nice run at the end of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Argentina, on the other hand, they are still hungover from the Copa Centenario defeat. 3 final losses in 3 years. The FA is in complete chaos still. The average fan on the surface, it looks like everything is fine. Messi is back. He came back. He scored that goal against Uruguay. He got injured against Venezuela. Venezuela, though, a lot of people said that should have been an easy victory. But Venezuela, for the last 4 campaigns, have been steadily improving.
Yeah.
Don't let that position on the table fool you. They've defeated Brazil. They've defeated Argentina. Everybody has felt this thing of Venezuela. Before the game, I had no FIFA prediction, and I lost. Didn't look well for me, but it turns out it wasn't too far off. They ended up drawing 2-2.
Yeah.
So I think Argentina has a bit more to deal with than Brazil right now. I think they have to figure out the new system Borza wants to use. So it's interesting, and I think in the end, Chile is struggling a bit.
Yeah.
So I think Argentina and Brazil will end up, where they should. I think if Argentina won that game against Venezuela, they would have been set. But I think that gives a lot of nerves, and it also brings back up the very inaccurate term that Argentina relies on Messi. But that draw against Venezuela doesn't help.
No.
So Brazil actually look like they're on the up. Argentina is trying to find their feet again. So to answer the question, I think Brazil are going to have a nice strong finish to the qualifiers.
Argentina versus Venezuela. 2-2, Wampi and Martinez scored for Venezuela. But remember, Dybala was missing, Messi was missing. So that's 2 creative players who teams usually aspire to create with.
Yeah.
Gone. And Uruguay is at top of CONMEBOL standings thanks to a 4-0 victory over Paraguay. Andre Cavani scored 2 goals.
Yeah, he finally scored some goals.
Wow.
And it shows you how South America, I mean, I know the original question was about Brazil and Argentina, but it shows you how things could change just like that.
Yeah.
At one point, people were writing off Brazil. People were looking at Argentina with raised eyebrows to see how they would handle this situation. Uruguay had a horrible Copa Centenario.
Horrible.
But, yeah, it was pretty terrible, but just like that, these 3 teams are still where they belong in the top 3.
Yeah.
Chile is struggling, so it shows you how insane these qualifiers are. You would think Chile would be a sure bet to be at least in the top 3 right now. So, listen, South American qualifiers are my favorite. I love to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Argentina, but it's very competitive. There are no easy games. There are no easy games in football anymore. So, it'll be premature to say Brazil are going to easily top the quality standings, but from what I'm seeing, I think they can. I think the international break ended at the wrong time for them.
Yeah.
I think if they had a game tomorrow, they'd easily win it. I think the international break came at the right time for Argentina, so they could regroup, hopefully get their guns back with Dybala and so on after the suspension. So that's my thought, I guess.
But for CONMEBOL, about 5 teams qualify. Actually, no, 4.5.
Yep.
But the 5th place team play Oceania.
Usually Uruguay most of the time.
Yeah, usually. But
Uruguay loves that spot for some reason.
But this round they play most likely New Zealand, so I think that whoever finishes 5th would beat New Zealand and get through.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And in some news that I really like, Barcelona legend Xavi has said that Lionel Messi is incomparable, especially compared to Cristiano Ronaldo. And he's speaking on behalf of not only himself, but everyone who likes football.
I'm not surprised that Xavi would say that. He's his teammate. Obviously, this is going to draw a line. The debate that always continues. I know where I stand with this thing. Before I would say, first of all, before I even get into the question, I just think the comparison is stupid. It's just a media thing. I absolutely think it's dumb. But recently, I started this way. And I'm not going to hide behind it. I'm going to be a hypocrite and be all, diplomatic. I was actually a huge fan of Ronaldo when he first came out. In fact, I was one of his defenders when he came to Manchester United. A lot of people wrote him off. They said Ferguson only signs players for one season and then he gets rid of them. Beckham left and it was like, who's this number 7? He doesn't like to pass the ball. And I was like, no, this guy is good though. Because you don't really see out-and-out dribblers who could beat players anymore. Admittedly, that has gone from his game a little bit. I think he's more athletic and aerial. You see some of the headers this guy scores. But he and Messi plays in completely different positions as far as I'm concerned. Their style, very different. And if I had to choose, I will agree with Xavi. I think he is top to bottom, technically a better player. But Ronaldo is very good. It's very difficult. It's dangerous. I don't like to tread defense with this, but I could understand why Xavi says this. Xavi played with the guy. They're teammates. They've won a lot together. So naturally, Messi. I'm pretty sure if Ronaldo played with Barcelona, he'd probably have high praises for Ronaldo. But from a footballer's fan perspective, I think we are tremendously fortunate to see players like these guys. But Xavi, what can I say? That's your boy. So. Yeah. In his eyes, Messi is a guy. I'm trying to do the analyst thing and highlight both players. But if I had to choose, and I'm saying it now, I think Messi is the better player. I know Kelvin Jack agrees. Remember that interview?
Yeah.
Kevin, I know this is a line that's drawn.
Yep.
Look at Kevin's face already.
I would go for Ronaldo, but that's not good there.
Justify your position.
We're gonna talk about the camera.
Yeah, I'll come to that.
Yeah.
But Xavi, he's obviously looking at his clique. That Barcelona clique is very tight.
Yeah, that's his crew.
Fostered by Guardiola. That Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, Puyol, Piqué, that tight-knit bond is really inseparable. And I mean, over the years, Xavi to Messi, it's been glorious. And Messi's ability to dribble and weave his way past defenders has been fantastic.
Yep.
And for Argentina, I would say the pressure of Argentina's public, it's undeniably intense for his shoulders. And in the shadow of the godlike figure of Maradona means that for him to shine, he has to be absolutely 100% every game. And that's impossible for a professional footballer and a human being, in fact.
Riquelme learned that the hard way as well. There have been many number 10s before who have fallen to this curse. I like to call it.
Yeah. But if to bring Ronaldo into it, I just really like that Ronaldo. His physical attributes means that he can alternate various positions, and he has dabbled in different leagues, different styles of football. So he's a player that the team is more dependent on him to shine for the team to be successful, and he's a more important cog in a team compared to Messi because his supporting cast has been so tight and so well bound together that the system can work, and Messi is just an accessory, a piece. But Ronaldo, everything is relied on him, even for Portugal as well. His supporting cast of Portugal is much less talented. So that's my opinion. Again, it's subject to change because anything can happen, players can go down. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a topic I hate because
me too.
I think real football fans try to avoid this, but eventually because of how the world is, they force you to take a stance. if I had a team and I had to choose a player, I would probably go for Messi first, but then I'd get all analytical and well, based on the needs of the team, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's expected from Xavi. That's his buddy. He's always going to say that. I think just like Ronaldo's teammates will say the same about him. So it's an expected response. That's a debate that will go on forever. We see how quickly things can change in football. You know, Messi lost the Copa America final. He got a ridiculous amount of criticism, and all of a sudden, you know, the blonde hair, he got criticized. Just like that, Ronaldo could slip up again, and then he gets criticized because he gets a lot of stick as well. Don't make no mistake, Ronaldo gets a lot of stick from everybody. So winning the Euros definitely silenced a couple people. But in context of the question, I'm not surprised Xavi said that.
Yeah, and that said, I think Ronaldo's on his way down fitness-wise because he is older than Messi. And his body type, his physique, it is a lot more upkeeping to maintain that, whilst Messi relies less on his physique and more on his technical ability. So, as a player aging, Messi would comparatively age better than Ronaldo because of those physiological attributes.
Actually, well, wow, brilliant. Because I was going to use a Del Piero reference. People remember when Del Piero was young, great dribbler, whatever, and then he adapted his game. Del Piero played for years because his technical ability was insane. He was that good. I think Ronaldo relies. His game is speed, but very much like Figo. Figo is a very fast winger, Portuguese guy. And then eventually, when the speed started to evade him a bit, he struggled a bit. And eventually, he went out of Real Madrid. And he became more of a creative player. He had a nice season at Inter Milan. And I could see that happening to Ronaldo soon. The injury, I don't think, is going to help. I think with exercise science now and all the technology and sophistication and rehabilitation, I think he could get a couple years, maybe 4 or 5 years, but I don't think he could sustain the Ronaldo we know now. He has done amazingly well to do what he's doing now, dedication to his physical, appearance. And when I mean appearance, I mean how he plays. But I think it's going to catch up with him. But that's in the future. For now, I still think that Xavi is going to say what Xavi is going to say, and I'm pretty sure if Marcelo had to talk about Ronaldo, he'd probably say Ronaldo's the best too. So it makes sense that you're backing up your teammate. I know we went into great detail about that, but you can't not speak in detail about this question. It's something that will probably never be resolved. Even after these guys retire, we'll probably have discussions.
100 years from now, we're going to be talking about this.
So definitely extra time is Team Messi.
Okay. All right. So listen. So that's enough time there. I think that's enough. We don't want to get into that thing, but I wish we could answer some more questions. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. So Kevon, where can we find you?
You can find me at Kev Instagram, Andre.
You can find me at Andre Soglal on Instagram. I just made up my whole thing there.
Yeah, Inter Milan players hang out.
Trademark right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Inter Milan and whatever. So Instagram and Twitter. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because. When you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you leave comments, repost and share and hashtag on our Facebook page, you qualify for the chance to possibly win a copy of FIFA 17. And also we have many giveaways. We recently had a giveaway where Candice Mohan, congratulations to you, won 2 tickets to the Trinidad and Tobago Guatemala game. So congrats once again. So Kevon, so there's definitely a good reason to like our show. So even if you don't like us, you'll get some tickets and so on. So
who doesn't want free stuff?
Yeah, free stuff, man. And this stuff has been brought to you by the kind folks of
My Store.
Yes. So stay tuned and leave your questions.